assembly today, but yeah, we're experiencing the Matra Sparsha Sukonta. Yeah. Thank you all for still coming, even though the seasons are changing. Let's see. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavala Giri Varadhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavala Giri Varadhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavala Giri Varadhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavala Giri Varadhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavala Giri Varadhari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Kala Chandri Radha Kala Chandri Radhe Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, and to Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayesha bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati utama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnanat Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Okay. So, today we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 1st chapter, and we're going to finish the chapter today. We're going to read from text 33. So, does anyone remember any context from the previous class or previous day? Anyone know what we're talking about? Now, Krishna is equal to everyone. And then there was a specific example given of a certain personality. Shishupal, yeah. And, and he was compared to King Vena. But Shishupal was always thinking of Krishna, so he got Krishna's mercy, while as Vena was unable to think of Krishna's form. So he could not attain salvation. So this is all a lead up to one of our favorite pastimes, the appearance of Lord Nrsingadev. So we're going to read and see how we connect the dots here. Dustin, can you read the first text?
Narada Muni continued, O best of the Pandavas, your two cousins, Shishupal and Dantavakra, the sons of material ant, were formerly associates. The sons of your maternal aunt were formerly associates of Lord Vishnu. Because they were cursed by the Brahmanas, they fell from Vaikuntha to this material world.
Can you read two texts?
Maharaj Yudhisthira inquired, what kind of great curse could affect even liberated Vishnu Bhaktas? And what sort of person could curse even the Lord's associates? For unflinching devotees of the Lord to fall again to this material world is impossible. I cannot believe this.
So, Dustin, what is Maharaj Yudhisthira? What can he not believe? What's so crazy about this? What you just read. So these two souls, they're in Vaikuntha, and what happens to them? They're cursed to come into the material world. And so he's asking, who could curse the Lord's associates, and how could the Lord's associates be even affected by a curse? So this is what we'll talk about today. Thanks for reading. Mother Kunti?
Text 35. The bodies of the inhabitants of Vaikuntha are completely spiritual, having nothing to do with the material body, senses, or life air. Therefore, kindly explain how associates of the personality of Godhead, were cursed to descend in material bodies like ordinary persons.
The great saint Narada said, once upon a time, when the four sons of Lord Brahma, named Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumar, were wandering throughout the three worlds, they came by chance to Vishnu Loka.
Yeah, you can read too.
Although these four great sages were older than Brahma's other sons, like Marichi, they appeared like small, naked children, only 5 or 6 years old. When Jai and Vijay saw them trying to enter Vaikuntha Loka, these two gatekeepers, thinking them ordinary children, forbade them to enter.
So we know this story quite well.
Thus checked by the doorkeepers Jaya and Vijaya, Sanandana and the other great sages very angrily cursed them. You two foolish doorkeepers, they said, being agitated by the material qualities of passion and ignorance, you are unfit to live at the shelter of Madhu Dvisa's lotus feet, which are free from such modes. It would be better for you to go immediately to the material world and take your birth in a family of most sinful Ashuras.
Next text. You can read too. Yeah, Yashwati Nanda, please read. You can read Prue. Okay.
While Jaya and Vijaya, thus cursed by the sages, were following to the material world, they were addressed as follows by the same sages, who were very kind to them. O doorkeepers, after 3 births you will be able to return to your positions in Vaikuntha, for then the duration of the curse will have ended.
These two associates of the Lord, Jai and Vijay, later descended to the material world, taking birth as the 2 sons of Diti, Hiranyakashipu being the elder, and Hiranyaksha the younger. They were very much respected by the Daityas and the Danavas, the demonic species. Appearing as Nrsingadev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Hari, killed Hiranyakashipu. When the Lord delivered the planet Earth, which had fallen in the Garbhodak ocean, Hiranyakashipu tried to hinder him, and then the Lord, as Varaha, killed Hiranyaksha.
Desiring to kill his son Prahlad, who was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, Hiranyakashipu tortured him in many ways. The Lord, the supersoul of all living entities, is sober, peaceful, and equal to everyone. Since the great devotee Prahlad was protected by the Lord's potency, Hiranyakashipu was unable to kill him in spite of endeavoring to do so in various ways.
Text 44. Thereafter, the same Jai and Vijay, the 2 doorkeepers of Lord Vishnu, took birth as Ravana and Kumbhakarna, begotten by Vishrava in the womb of Keshini. They were extremely troublesome to all the people of the universe. Text 45. Narad Muni continued, My dear king, just to relieve Jai and Vijay of the Brahmana's curse, Lord Ramchandra appeared in order to kill Ravana and Kumbhakarna. It will be better for you to hear narrations about Lord Ramchandra's activities from Markandeya.
In their 3rd birth, the same Jaya and Vijaya appeared in a family of Kshatriyas as your cousins, the sons of your aunt. Because Lord Krishna has struck them with his disc, all their sinful reactions have been destroyed, and now they are free from the curse. These 2 associates of Lord Vishnu, Jaya and Vijaya, maintained a feeling of enmity for a very long time. Because of always thinking of Krishna in this way, they regained the shelter of the Lord, having returned home back to Godhead.
Text 48. Maharaj Yudhishthira inquired, O my lord, Narada Muni, why was there such enmity between Hiranyakashipu and his beloved son Prahlad Maharaj? How did Prahlad Maharaj become such a great devotee of Lord Krishna? Kindly explain this to me. So this is our cliffhanger. And it's hinting at what the next chapter is going to be and what the rest of this canto, well, not the whole entire canto, but the next few chapters will be about, is about the story of Prahlad. All right. We will focus on text 35. Dehendriya suhinanam Vaikunta Puravasinam Ehasambandha Sampadham Etad Akyatumarhasi. Please chant. Dehendriya suhinanam Kunta Puravasinam Ehasambandha Sambadham Tadarkyatim arhasi. Etadakyatim arhasi. Hendriya suhinanam Vaikunta Puravasinam Sambandha Sambadham Ekyadarhasi. Anyone else? Dustin, you want to try? Dehendriya suhinanam Vaikunta Puravasinam Ehasambandha Sambadham Etadakyatim arhasi. Altogether synonyms. Deha, of a material body. Indriya, material senses. Asu, life breath. Hinanam, of those devoid. Vaikunta Pura, of Vaikunta. Vasinam, of the residents. Deha Sambandha, in a material body. Sambadham, bondage. Etat, this. Akyatum arhasi, please describe. Translation: the bodies of the inhabitants of Vaikuntha are completely spiritual, having nothing to do with the material body. Dustin, can you read the purport once I finish? Having nothing to do with the material body, senses, or life air. Therefore, kindly explain how associates of the personality of Godhead were cursed to descend in material bodies like ordinary persons. Purport by Srila Prabhupada.
This very significant question would be difficult for an ordinary person to answer, but Narada Muni, being an authority, could answer it. Therefore Maharaj Yudhisthira inquired from him, saying, Etad ahyatum arhasi, only you can explain that reason. From authoritative sources, it can be discerned that associates of Lord Vishnu who descend from Vaikuntha do not actually fall. They come with the purpose of fulfilling the desire of the Lord, and their descent to this material world is comparable to that of the Lord. The Lord comes to this material world through the agency of his internal potency. And similarly, when a devotee or associate of the Lord descends to this material world, he does so through the action of the spiritual energy. Any pastime conducted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead is an arrangement by Yogamaya, not Mahamaya. Therefore, it is to be understood that when Jay and Vijay descended to this material world, they came because there is something to be done for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, it is a fact that no one falls from Vaikuntha.
Okay, so there's we're hearing in this purport. Huh? No one falls from Vaikuntha. Yeah. So, Dustin, what are the two Mayas, and what is Srila Prabhupada saying about each of them?
Yogamaya and Mahamaya.
And so one of them is, which ones are they?
It's Yogamaya.
Yeah, so by Yogamaya, these two are descending. Basically, Mahamaya is Krishna's external energy. Mahamaya is it's kind of the Maya that we talk about usually. Oh, I'm in Maya. Usually we mean we're in Mahamaya. And then Yogamaya is the illusion that Krishna himself manages. It's the spiritual energy. And we're seeing here, otherwise is a fact that no one falls from Vaikuntha. So we'll talk about this a little more. But this is the question, is that if these two personalities were in Vaikuntha, how could they fall? Please read on.
Of course, a living entity who desires Sayujya Mukti remains in Krishna's Brahman effulgence, which is dependent on Krishna's body. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Such an impersonalist who takes shelter of the Brahman effulgence must surely fall down. This is stated in the Shastra.
Yene Ravindaksha Vimuktamaninas Tvayasta Bhava Ravishuddha Buddhaya Aruhya Krichena Paramparam Tata Patyanta Donadrita Yushmadankaya. May Mother Tulsi Saki, do you want to read?
O Lord, the intelligence of those who think themselves liberated, but who have no devotion is impure. Even though they rise to the highest point of liberation by dint of severe penances and austerities, they are sure to fall down again into material existence. For they do not take shelter at your lotus feet. The impersonalists cannot reach the Vaikuntha planets to become associates of the Lord. And therefore, according to their desires, Krishna gives them Sayujya Mukti. However, since Sayujya Mukti is partial Mukti, they must fall again to this material world. When it is said that the individual soul falls from Brahmaloka, this applies to the impersonalist.
Sure. Yeah.
From authoritative sources, it is learned that Jaya and Vijaya were sent to this material world to fulfill the Lord's desire to fight. The Lord also sometimes wants to fight, but who can fight with the Lord but a very confidential devotee of the Lord? Jaya and Vijaya descend to this world to fulfill the Lord's desire. Therefore, in each of their three births, first is Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, second is Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and third is Shishupal and Dantavakra. The Lord personally killed them. In other words, these associates of the Lord, Jaya and Vijaya, descended to the material world to serve the Lord by fulfilling his desire to fight. Otherwise, as Maharaj Yudhisthira says, Ashradheya Iva Bhati, the statement that a servant of the Lord could fall from Vaikuntha seems unbelievable. How Jaya and Vijaya came to this material world is explained by Narada Muni as follows.
Okay. Jai, thank you all so much for going through the purport. Zungai Sesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, let me see. Yeah, we're hearing about the soul's journey to the material world. So most of us, due to misusing our independence, we've chosen to come here. But in this situation, Jai and Vijay, they were requested by the Lord to come to this material world. And why were they requested by the Lord? Who knows? Yeah, you can just call it out. I'll repeat it in the mic. Yeah, Krishna was in a fighting mood. He can't fight with the Vishnu Dudas there. They're servants. Yeah, he can't fight with the gopis. So, yeah, Krishna wants some action. Krishna wants some super battles. So he sends these servants to fight with him in 3 different incarnations. Ravana, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and then lastly Shishupal and Dantavakra. And then they come again as Jai and Vijay. No, Jagai and Madai. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, then back to Jai and Vijay. But yeah, we're seeing that these very exalted personalities are coming as demons in order to satisfy the Lord. And so this is in the internal energy. And this is something very common that we see, is that liberated beings will enter the material world. Does anyone have any examples of pure devotees who have come to the material world? Srila Prabhupada, any others? No. Any other examples? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, more Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Jai Shri, more, give me more. 6 Goswamis, Haridas Thakur. Yes, so many personalities are coming to this material world, and for what purpose are they coming? For us to reclaim the conditioned souls. So some of the names you said, we understand Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari. Rupa Manjari is one of the most intimate, confidential servants of Srimati Radharani. And we hear about Jiva Goswami's Vilas Manjari, and Krishnadas Kaviraj is Kasturi Manjari. We mentioned Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is Nayana Manjari. So all these personalities, they have these amazing spiritual forms that they previously had. You can read descriptions where it describes how, I was just reading this a little while ago, that Vishaka Saki's, her dress is like stars, and her complexion is like lightning. Imagine that. Imagine that sight to see. And this isn't like what we think of in the material world, where there's like some little cutouts of stars glued on the dress. Like, if it says that their dress looks like stars, it looks like stars. And yeah, and they're self-effulgent, and there are all these different personalities who are so close to Krishna, so intimate with Krishna, yet they come to this material world for us. And when we read their books, when we read these books like Nectar of Instruction, we can see that this book was written by Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari. And they're here to speak to us very specifically. They're here to give transcendental knowledge and to give the highest knowledge. So how much reverence we should have for these teachings, for the line that we come in. We come in this line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is comprised of some of the most exalted devotees of Krishna. We hear that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, every personality is from the spiritual world. We hear that Lalita Saki came as Swarup Damodar, and Vishaka Saki, Ramananda Rai, Champakalata was Shivananda Sain. So many examples of this. This is the line that we come in. These are the teachers that came to help us. Imagine that. Imagine, Lalita Devi coming to help you, writing books. She didn't. I'm not sure if she wrote books, but Rupa Manjari and all these devotees, they came and they wrote books for our benefit. So this is spiritual life. Is that we lost connection to the internet. That's okay. Maybe I'll just turn this off. But yeah, this is what the spiritual, this is what the servants of the Lord do. Is whatever Krishna desires, they do. And we hear from Lord Chaitanya, birth after birth, I'm here to serve. we hear devotees say, you know, I'll even go to hell for you. Who says that they'll go to hell for Krishna? The gopis, yeah. So Krishna has a headache, and Narada Muni is going to all the devotees saying, I need the dust of your feet to cure Krishna's headache. And they go, oh no, I can't do that. I'll go to hell. But the gopis say, oh, if Krishna has a headache, immediately let me alleviate Krishna's headache. So Krishna, he has a particular kind of headache, in that all these conditioned souls are in the material world. He is distressed at that condition. Lord Chaitanya says, I am a gardener. I'm but a single gardener. What can I do? How can I distribute all these fruits by myself? And Srila Prabhupada would describe that we're alleviating the anxiety of Lord Chaitanya if we try to help others. And this is the example that even, you know, Krishna's gopis have set, is that they came to help others. And this is the example that Srila Prabhupada set. Srila Prabhupada was at the Radha Damodar temple, so close to Krishna. He could see the Yamuna flowing. And he looked out his window to see Rupa Goswami's samadhi. And it's described that Rupa Goswami's samadhi, it's the pivot of the rotation of the spiritual world. When we went there, a nice devotee gave a class about that, how it's the center of the whirl of the lotus is Rupa Goswami's samadhi. So Srila Prabhupada was living there for years, but he left to go to Yavana Loka, to go to, you know, these Western countries. And Srila Prabhupada would say, I remember I was hearing someone was giving a class, and they mentioned how the devotees were fighting. Oh, you know, this is going wrong. These devotees are doing this. And he said, do you think it was easy for me to come? Do you think it was easy when I had to put my food in the same refrigerator as the meat and the cat food? Do you think it was easy for me? So, yeah, this is part of our legacy, is that we make sacrifices for Krishna's desire. And here we're seeing Jai and Vijay giving such a nice example that they became the worst of demons to satisfy Krishna's desire. And yeah, what a painful life to be a demon. You know, maybe they were living opulently, but when you're filled with envy, when you're filled with hate, you can't be happy. You can't live nicely. And so Jai and Vijay willingly accepted this to satisfy Krishna's desires. So similarly, we have to accept austerities. We have to accept sacrifice to please Krishna, to try to help others, to serve Krishna's purpose. And yeah, lastly, we can understand that when these liberated souls come into this material world, they don't descend like ordinary persons. They don't come because they have karma. They don't come because they have material desires. They don't come because they want to be separate from Krishna. They come because they want to serve Krishna. So it's quite different from us. We come for a different reason. We come because we have some business, different agenda too. So we should never see the Acharya as coming from a mundane background, coming from a contaminated position. We should see that Krishna has sent them here for a very specific purpose, for a very intimate purpose. And yeah, actually, to properly understand this statement that no one falls from Vaikuntha, it's more so no one accidentally falls from Vaikuntha. Like in this situation, they were cursed. But this wasn't an accident. This wasn't an oversight by Krishna. This was his desire. And similarly, if we are, when we had fallen from the spiritual realm, that was from our own desire, from our own independent will. But there's no random falling from Vaikuntha. And also we didn't come from the Brahmajyoti either. There is no I was hearing in class I heard Ananda Maharaj where some say that we came from the Tatashta Shakti, but he explained that there is no Tatashta Shakti as a place. There is no marginal location. There is no like, okay, I'm gonna go to the Tatashta Shakti now. So we came from from the spiritual world. So we should understand this. It's already 8:15. Jai, thank you, Yashanti Nana Prabhu. But any comments or reflections, questions? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, keep warm. Any reflections? Any comments or thoughts? Mother Kunti, can someone give her the mic?
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for being very methodical on this verse. It's extremely important. It's a pivotal situation. How does someone leave the spiritual world and come to this place full of birth, death, disease, and old age? Why are we here? So this is so pivotal, and you're touching on very important aspects. Thank you. One thing about this fall of Jaya and Vijay, when the four Kumaras came before them, the Lord actually covered their vision, because Jaya and Vijay are eternally blissful servants of Krishna, and they have completely transcendental vision. But the Lord, by his desire, as you said, he wanted a fight, so he covered them. And all of a sudden they saw four little kids that looked very kind of playful and naughty or whatever, and they saw by mundane vision, no, you may not come. And then that brought on their anger. They had no idea. They weren't aware for that moment that these four Kumaras are the oldest personalities in the universe, besides Lord Brahma. They're the first issue of Lord Brahma, and they didn't know. And so there it was. And they're very powerful and cursed them. I guess the question is that sometimes we feel like we're blessed in the association of devotees, and then sometimes we feel that we're being cursed. Mm-hmm. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah.
Thank you
so much for such a wonderful, giving us more context on what happened. I just wanted to share a small reflection. Yeah, sometimes we feel like we've made a mistake in bhakti, like Jai and Vijay might have. But we shouldn't get too hung up on it. We shouldn't get ashamed. We shouldn't shut down, because Krishna will teach us something through this mistake. Krishna, in some cases, he may even arrange this mistake. He may humble us in a certain way. He may, that's how we can grow, is when we make mistakes. I heard this story once of this Brahmana, and he was like, I've never missed a Gayatri in my life. And so then one day he overate at breakfast or something like that, and he was like, oh my Krishna, I need a nap. So he takes a nap, and then the noon Gayatri is passing, and he has to chant it, and Kali pokes him, hey, get up, you gotta chant your Gayatri. And then he gets up and he chants it, and he's like, okay, thank you so much. But why did you help me? if you're Kali, if you're this Iron Age, why did you help me? And so essentially the moral was, if you hadn't, perhaps you would have some more humility. Perhaps you would have some more sincerity. You wouldn't think yourself so great had you had missed this. So yeah, we can see that sometimes these challenges, sometimes these mistakes come to humble us. Sometimes devotees will chastise us to humble us, to keep us humble. And we don't have to think so much whether I deserve it, whether I don't deserve it, whether it was right or wrong. But we just try to see that Krishna is putting us in these situations, and they may look like they're hard. They may look like they're unfavorable for our service. They may look like it's disturbing our chanting momentarily. May look like we have less association, or we're in a little more Maya. But if we have faith that Krishna, he's stringing us along, and the path doesn't look so black and white, it doesn't look like a straight line, but there's different means by which he's purifying us, different means by which he's pulling us to surrender to him. Jai, thank you, Mother Kunti, for a nice point. Any further discussion topics on this? This microphone, its battery is dead. You can take this one. Okay, I do. Okay, sure. I'll repeat it. Wait, maybe I can just repeat that. The Gokulananda Prabhu appreciated Mother Kunti's point, and we see from the Bhagavatam that Krishna doesn't choose any Humpty Dumpty. Sorry, this hunky dory. He chooses special personalities, and he hits many targets at once, teaches many lessons through one situation. Jai and Vijay are very special, and Krishna wouldn't fight with any non-devotees, but these they're part of Krishna's special entourage. We have a mic coming. Technical difficulty. Here.
And other point was, four Kumaras, no doubt they were great personalities, but they were not pure devotees until that particular point. So in Bhagavatam it is mentioned, when they realized their mistake, they bowed down and they were humbled to see the humility of the Supreme Lord. They bowed down, and by smelling the fragrance of tulsi leaves at the Supreme Lord's lotus feet, they became pure devotees. So until then they were Brahmavadis. So that was also one of the plans of the Supreme Lord. That's why I said he's a multitasker.
Jai, wonderful. Yeah, supreme multitasker. Yes, there's so many lessons in this that we shouldn't judge based off of perhaps a bodily identification. We shouldn't criticize, and also we shouldn't be quick to curse people either. We should be merciful. Yeah. Mother Kunti?
You said also in your class that Krishna has a headache with concern over all the living entities. At the same time, you also narrated the pastime of the gopis who, when they were approached for foot dust and told, "Don't you know you'll go to hell?" We'll go to hell millions of lifetimes if Krishna's headache is pacified. And but I'm going back to your original point. Krishna has a headache. I mean, he does and he doesn't. He comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is his mercy incarnation. So yet he does have that headache, meaning he is ever reaching for the living entities who have left. At the same time, he's ever blissful and completely detached. So that's his. I mean, I'm trying to understand.
Yeah,
you want to comment?
I think you said it beautifully. Yeah. Actually, we hear that Krishna, he's up on the altar playing the flute and dancing with Radharani. And he sends Balaram to come round us up. So Balaram comes as the Chaturvyuha, and then the second quadruple expansion, Mahavishnu, and then all these incarnations and the spiritual master to come bring us back to him. So, yeah, this is the position of the Supreme Enjoyer, Krishna. He is looking very nice today. Sandra.
Sandra, got too many listeners. There's about 25 listeners.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Drshta.
Krishna.
I just have a simple question. I out of ignorance, where is Vaikuntha, or what is Vaikuntha?
Yeah, thank you
Thank
for
you so
the
much.
nice question. So, Vaikuntha is the spiritual world. Vaikuntha literally means place without anxieties. So, all of Krishna's forms are in the Vaikuntha planets. Whether you're attracted to his form as Nrsingadev, whether you're attracted to his form as Lord Vishnu, it essentially means the spiritual world. And then at the topmost position is Krishna's planet called Goloka. So these are all the spiritual world, Vaikuntha. And they're beyond the material realm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I've heard that 75% of the creation is the spiritual world and 25% is the material world. But I've also, it said, it didn't say that exactly the population of souls. I even heard that 99% would never leave Krishna. So I had this thought, like, why do the 1% need so much space? I guess because they want to be the controller. They
So
need
greedy.
Yeah, greedy. Yeah.
I just wanted to add one more. Kuntha means place of misery. The place that we live in is a place of miseries, and we are afflicted by threefold miseries all the time. Misery is caused by one's body and mind, other living entities, and natural calamities. So this is the place of misery. And Vai means beyond. That place which is beyond the place of misery is called Vaikuntha.
Jai, thank you.
Question that Yashomati Nandan Prabhu was asking. So, okay, you clarified that there's no place that you can go to, right? But the other one is like we could fall, we could be, what is it? Impersonalists, go to the Brahmajyoti and then fall from the Brahmajyoti, right?
Yeah, it's actually saying in this verse that everyone who goes to the Brahmajyoti will come down. And they
so
say,
we could be one of those also, right? Category.
well, it's not our constitutional position. So yes, we could have merged before. We could have actually merged several times and come back down. But it's not our original starting point.
Okay.
Yeah. Originally, we have a relationship with Krishna. Here, where is it? Yeah, this verse. Though they rise to the highest point of liberation by dint of severe penances and austerities, they are sure to fall down again into material existence, for they do not take shelter at your lotus feet. So, the impersonalists who merge with the light of the Supreme Lord, they can't stay there. They have to come back down because they need activity, they need relationship, they need service. Gokulananda Prabhu?
Tadastha Shakti means all of us, marginal potency, who are in between. So we must take shelter either of Yogamaya, which is Srimati Radharani's expansion, or Mahamaya, which is prevalent here. So there is no in between. So you have to take shelter. So when we take shelter, especially the impersonalists who also happen to be transcendentalists, but lacking the supreme knowledge, they desire to go to the merge into the Brahman. So they stay there. It's like a dormant state. It's like sleeping. All of us like to sleep. But after sleeping for a long time, finally they realize there is no other way than to render devotional service and get restored back into our original position. That said, after going back to the spiritual world, there is a danger of coming back. But it is just like Prabhupada says, once we are jailed, we go to the prison cell, once we have gone through that hardship, we never would like to go back again. So we want to take eternal shelter of Radharani. Then we don't want to come back here again.
Jai.
Prabhupada didn't want to come here.
Mother Kunti?
Sri Krishna said, please go and write those books and then come back.
Yeah, how much we should honor the books that Krishna has sent Srila Prabhupada to come here and write. All right, well that's 8:32. We can now wrap up. Thank you all for your presence.